Illinois Real Estate Practice Exam 2026. Question 1. Jordan has completed high school and wants a first Illinois broker license after finishing coursework in Springfield. Which education path most directly satisfies the standard broker pre-license requirement during Logan's Galesburg mixed-use storefront file review? Option A, 60 hours of broker pre-license topics plus 15 hours of interactive applied real estate principles. Option B, only a 15-hour leasing agent course. Option C, 45 hours of managing broker education without broker coursework. Option D, a continuing education course completed after licensure. The correct answer is option A, 60 hours of broker pre-license topics plus 15 hours of interactive applied real estate principles. Illinois broker candidates in the standard path complete 75 class hours made up of 60 hours of broker topics and 15 hours of interactive applied principles. A leasing course is for residential leasing agents, managing broker education is a different license path, and continuing education applies after licensure rather than before the broker exam. Question 2. A broker representing Quinn receives confidential negotiating information. Which duty is most directly triggered? Option A, revealing all confidential strategy to the opposing party. Option B, protecting confidential information unless disclosure is authorized or legally required. Option C, changing the purchase price without permission. Option D, ignoring lawful client instructions. The correct answer is option B, protecting confidential information unless disclosure is authorized or legally required. Agency and brokerage duties include protecting confidential information while also making required disclosures, revealing strategy, changing terms without authority, or ignoring lawful instructions would violate core client-service duties. Question 3. A small rental property has annual net operating income of $36,000 and an indicated capitalization rate of 7%. What value is suggested by the income approach during Harper's Quincy rental duplex file review? Option A, $252,000. Option B, $5,143. Option C, $514,286. Option D, $257,143. The correct answer is option C, $514,286. The income approach using direct capitalization divides NOI by the capitalization rate. $36,000 divided by 7% equals about $514,286. The other answers multiply by the rate, treat the percent as a whole number, or cut the indicated value in half. Stressed about your CNA exam? We can take CNA exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. Avery failed one portion of the Illinois broker licensing exam several times during the eligibility period. After the fourth unsuccessful attempt, what must happen before testing again during Jamie's Waukegan Lakefront Cottage file review? Option A. The candidate may immediately test an unlimited number of times. Option B. Only the national portion must be retaken without additional education. Option C. The candidate automatically receives a leasing agent license. Option D. The candidate must retake the required broker pre-license education before retesting. The correct answer is option D. The candidate must retake the required broker pre-license education before retesting. Illinois exam rules allow broker candidates up to 4 attempts during the eligibility period. After a fourth failed attempt, the candidate must complete the required pre-license education again before retaking the examination. Unlimited attempts, partial automatic exemptions, and automatic licensure are not supported. Question 5. A study question asks whether an interest is leasehold estate. What is the candidate being tested on during Rowan's Belleville Suburban Ranch home file review? Option A. The nature and duration of rights held in real property. Option B. The amount of commission owed to the broker. Option C. The mortgage interest rate. Option D. The required size of a residential disclosure form. The correct answer is option A. The nature and duration of rights held in real property. Estates and land describe the nature and duration of property rights. Commission, loan interest rates, and disclosure minus form size are separate topics and do not define the estate itself. Question 6. A property is worth $322,000 and has a loan balance of $129,000. Approximately how much equity does the owner have during Jordan's Chicago Commercial Suite file review? Option A, $451,000. Option B, $193,000. Option C, $129,000. Option D, $257,600. The correct answer is option B, $193,000. Equity is the property's value minus debt secured by the property, so $322,000 minus $129,000 equals $193,000. The distractors add debt, report the loan balance, or use an unsupported percentage of value. Question 7. Reese negotiates the sale of another person's condominium unit for a promised fee. Under Illinois licensing principles, why would this activity generally require a real estate license? Option A. It is allowed without a license if the property is residential. Option B. It is exempt whenever the fee is paid after closing. Option C. It involves brokerage activity for compensation on behalf of another person. Option D. It requires only a notary commission instead of a real estate license. The correct answer is option C. It involves brokerage activity for compensation on behalf of another person. Negotiating real estate transactions for another person for compensation is a core licensed brokerage activity. Residential status, delayed payment, or holding an unrelated notary commission does not remove the need for the proper real estate license. Question 8. A buyer wants to operate a retail shop in a residentially zoned property in Champaign. Which issue should be investigated before closing? Option A. Whether the deed automatically changes zoning. Option B. Whether the broker can override the ordinance. Option C. Whether title insurance guarantees business income. Option D. Whether zoning permits the intended use or whether an approval such as a variance is needed. The correct answer is option D. Whether zoning permits the intended use or whether an approval such as a variance is needed. Zoning controls land use, so the buyer's intended use must be permitted or approved through the proper local process. A deed, broker preference, or title insurance policy does not automatically change zoning or guarantee business income. Are you looking for CNA exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access CNA exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get CNA exam answer key today. Question 9. A buyer purchases for $280,000, makes a 10% down payment, and has $3,500 in closing costs. About how much cash is needed at closing before credits during Taylor's Naperville 2-flat building file review? Option A, $31,500. Option B, $28,000. Option C, $3,500. Option D, $276,500. The correct answer is option A, $31,500. Cash needed combines the down payment and closing costs. 10% of $280,000 plus $3,500 equals $31,500. The other choices omit either the costs or the down payment, or subtract costs from the price incorrectly. Question 10. Kendall wants to pay a sponsored Illinois licensee, Logan, directly for help with a purchase. How should compensation normally be handled during Riley's Rockford condominium unit file review? Option A. The buyer may pay the licensee directly at any time. Option B. The sponsored licensee should receive compensation through the sponsoring broker. Option C. The title company must split the fee directly with the licensee. Option D. The licensee may accept a secret bonus if the transaction closes. The correct answer is option B. The sponsored licensee should receive compensation through the sponsoring broker. A sponsored licensee is normally compensated through the sponsoring broker rather than directly by the public. Direct payment, title minus company fee splitting outside the broker relationship, and secret bonuses create licensing, disclosure, and compensation problems. Question 11. A business offers to find apartments for renters in exchange for a fee. Why might Illinois licensing law be implicated during Avery's Bloomington Townhome file review? Option A. Rental minus finding services are always exempt regardless of activity. Option B. Only sellers can trigger licensing law. Option C. Rental minus finding services can involve regulated real estate activity when performed for compensation. Option D. The service becomes legal if no written records are kept. The correct answer is option C. Rental minus finding services can involve regulated real estate activity when performed for compensation. Rental minus finding and leasing minus related services may be regulated when performed for compensation. The activity is not automatically exempt, licensing law is not limited to sales, and failing to keep records does not cure an unlicensed activity issue. Question 12. A rental property has NOI of $26,000 and a value estimate of $320,000. Approximately what capitalization rate is indicated during Cameron's Champaign small apartment building file review? Option A, 4.1%. Option B, 11.1%. Option C, 12.3%. Option D, 8.1%. The correct answer is option D, 8.1%. The capitalization rate is NOI divided by value, so $26,000 divided by $320,000 is about 8.1%. The other answers have the rate, add unsupported points, or invert the formula. Question 13. During a first substantial discussion, Morgan asks Casey whether the brokerage represents the buyer, the seller, or both. Why should the relationship be clarified early during Drew's Joliet mixed-use storefront file review? Option A. Agency and brokerage relationships affect duties, confidentiality, and the consumer's expectations. Option B. The relationship is irrelevant until after closing. Option C. A broker owes no duties until a deed is recorded. Option D. Agency disclosure is needed only for commercial leases. The correct answer is option A. Agency and brokerage relationships affect duties, confidentiality, and the consumer's expectations. Brokerage relationships determine duties such as disclosure, confidentiality, obedience to lawful instructions, and care. Waiting until closing, tying duties only to deed recording, or limiting disclosure concepts to commercial leases would leave the consumer without important relationship information. Question 14. A licensee knowingly misrepresents a material fact to induce a buyer to sign. Which licensing consequence is most relevant during Hayden's Aurora vacant lot file review? Option A. Automatic zoning approval. Option B. Disciplinary action for unprofessional or dishonest conduct. Option C. A mandatory title insurance payout. Option D. A tax prioration credit only. The correct answer is option B. Disciplinary action for unprofessional or dishonest conduct. Knowing misrepresentation can trigger discipline because it harms consumers and violates professional standards. Zoning approval, title insurance payout, and tax prioration are unrelated remedies for this licensing misconduct. Question 15. A buyer obtains a loan of $163,799 on a property appraised at $210,000. Approximately what is the loan minus to minus value ratio during Parker's Evanston rental duplex file review? Option A, 22%. Option B, 88%. Option C, 78%. Option D, 63%. The correct answer is option C, 78%. Loan minus to minus value is calculated by dividing the loan amount by the appraised value, $163,799 divided by $210,000, or about 78%. The other percentages confuse equity with LTV or use an incorrect numerator or denominator. Question 16. A buyer asks about neighbors dislike a former occupant, but there is no physical defect or legal restriction affecting the property. Why may this be treated differently from a material defect during Reese's Oak Park Lakefront Cottage file review? Option A. Every rumor must be included in the deed. Option B. The broker must create a structural inspection report. Option C. The seller must lower the price by statute. Option D. Stigmatizing facts usually do not have the same disclosure treatment as physical or legal defects. The correct answer is option D. Stigmatizing facts usually do not have the same disclosure treatment as physical or legal defects. Stigmatized minus property issues generally differ from material physical defects or title/legal problems. Rumors do not belong in a deed, brokers do not create structural inspection reports, and statutes do not automatically set a required price reduction for a stigma. Question 17. A commercial tenant pays base rent plus a share of property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Which lease type is most likely being described during Alex's Decatur suburban ranch home file review? Option A. Net lease. Option B. Gross lease. Option C. Ground lease only. Option D. Life estate. The correct answer is option A. Net lease. A net lease shifts some or all operating expenses to the tenant in addition to base rent. A gross lease usually places expenses primarily on the landlord, a ground lease concerns land rental, and a life estate is an ownership interest rather than a lease minus payment structure. Question 18. A buyer is reviewing required environmental paperwork involving known underground storage tank concerns. Why are these disclosures commonly tested during Blair's Elgin Commercial Suite file review? Option A. They guarantee the property has no environmental condition. Option B. They help buyers evaluate known or potential environmental risks before becoming bound to the transaction. Option C. They replace the purchase contract entirely. Option D. They require the broker to perform engineering tests in every sale. The correct answer is option B. They help buyers evaluate known or potential environmental risks before becoming bound to the transaction. Environmental disclosure laws are designed to inform buyers about known or potential risks before or during the contracting process. They do not guarantee a problem-free property, replace the contract, or require brokers to perform technical engineering tests in every transaction. Stressed about your CNA exam? We can take CNA exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. A settlement service provider offers a broker a hidden referral fee for steering buyers to that provider. Which federal concern is most likely during Quinn's normal farm parcel file review? Option A. Fixture classification. Option B. Adverse possession. Option C. RESPA restrictions on kickbacks and unearned fees. Option D. The rectangular survey system. The correct answer is option C. RESPA restrictions on kickbacks and unearned fees. RESPA addresses prohibited kickbacks and unearned fees involving settlement services. Fixtures, adverse possession, and land survey systems are unrelated to hidden settlement minus service referral payments. Question 20. Rowan and Jordan both claim the same earnest money after a failed Illinois purchase contract. How should the broker view disbursement during Sydney's Carbondale single-family home file review? Option A. The broker may give the money to the latter party. Option B. The broker must always keep the money as commission. Option C. The buyer automatically receives the money regardless of contract terms. Option D. The broker should follow the contract, written instructions, or lawful dispute minus resolution process before releasing funds. The correct answer is option D. The broker should follow the contract, written instructions, or lawful dispute minus resolution process before releasing funds. Earnest money disputes require careful handling under the contract and applicable escrow rules. A broker cannot choose based on pressure, convert the money into commission without entitlement, or ignore the party's contract rights. Question 21. A buyer includes a financing contingency in a purchase agreement. What is the main purpose of that clause during Logan's Galesburg 2-flat building file review? Option A. It gives the party a contractual condition that must be satisfied or waived under the agreement. Option B. It automatically gives the broker ownership of the property. Option C. It removes the need for mutual assent. Option D. It makes all deadlines meaningless. The correct answer is option A. It gives the party a contractual condition that must be satisfied or waived under the agreement. A contingency creates a condition that can affect whether the parties must proceed or may terminate under stated terms. It does not transfer ownership to the broker, replace mutual assent, or eliminate all contractual deadlines. Question 22. An unlicensed assistant named Harper is asked to explain offer terms to a buyer at an open house. Why is that risky during Kendall's Moline condominium unit file review? Option A. Unlicensed assistants may perform every brokerage task if unpaid. Option B. Explaining or negotiating transaction terms can cross into licensed activity. Option C. Only title companies need real estate licenses. Option D. Licensed supervision converts negotiation into clerical work. The correct answer is option B. Explaining or negotiating transaction terms can cross into licensed activity. Unlicensed assistants may perform clerical or administrative tasks, but explaining terms, negotiating, or advising consumers may require a license. Being unpaid, supervised, or involved with a title company does not transform licensed brokerage functions into purely clerical work. Question 23. A contract identifies land using a lot and block description. Why are legal descriptions tested separately from street addresses during Harper's Quincy townhome file review? Option A. Street addresses are always more legally precise. Option B. Legal descriptions are used only for personal property. Option C. A legal description is intended to identify the parcel with greater legal precision than a mailing address. Option D. A legal description replaces the need for a seller's signature. The correct answer is option C. A legal description is intended to identify the parcel with greater legal precision than a mailing address. Legal descriptions identify the land for conveyance and title purposes, while street addresses are often practical but less precise. They apply to real property, not personal property, and they do not replace signature and contract requirements. Question 24. Morgan signs an exclusive brokerage agreement and expects the broker to present offers and assist with negotiations. Which Illinois topic does this resemble during Jamie's Waukegan small apartment building file review? Option A. A deed restriction created by neighbors. Option B. A mortgage acceleration clause. Option C. A tax appeal before the assessor. Option D. A minimum services and duties under brokerage agreements. The correct answer is option D. Minimum services and duties under brokerage agreements. Illinois state-specific outlines test brokerage agreements, exclusive agreements, and minimum services. Deed restrictions, mortgage acceleration, and tax appeals involve different legal concepts rather than brokerage-service duties. Question 25. A tenant with a disability requests a reasonable accommodation to use the rental property. How should the property manager analyze the request during Rowan's Belleville mixed-use storefront file review? Option A. Evaluate whether the request is reasonable and necessary for equal use and enjoyment of the housing. Option B. Deny every accommodation to keep rules identical. Option C. Approve only accommodations requested by owners. Option D. Treat the request as an automatic eviction notice. The correct answer is option A. Evaluate whether the request is reasonable and necessary for equal use and enjoyment of the housing. Fair housing analysis considers whether an accommodation is reasonable and related to the tenant's disability-related needs. Blanket denial, owner-only approval standards, or treating the request as eviction would conflict with the purpose of accommodation rules.